Hi, everyone. Good evening. Um, I'm really very, very new at this, but I have an urgent message that I just wanted to get out. So I am jumping out here and trying to get my voice out here. And the good thing about this crisis is that I have been taking small steps to follow purpose and passion. And like some of us, this is an opportunity that we're going to take it's forcing us, we're in crisis, to get out there and do some things that we've always wanted to do, or that we need to do, or that we're called to do. So that's just a very quick, brief reason why I'm popping on here, and things aren't going to be perfect and go well. But right now, for me, this is about the message. So I went to the store, to Home Depot, early this morning, about 7ish, and I chose to go to the one in Montgomery County. As I was driving on Germantown Pike, right before you get to Chemical Road, I noticed a elderly man walking up Germantown Pike. It was a Caucasian man. He was a Caucasian man, and I just noticed, it's a slight hill. He was struggling a little bit, but I noticed, like, this elderly man is out here by himself. And why is he out here walking by himself? Why isn't he driving, or why isn't someone driving him? And, a lot of thoughts were going through my mind. Simultaneously, on my worship song that I was listening to this morning and the past two mornings was Smokey Norfolk, I Need You Now. So the song is on, and I'm looking at this elderly gentleman trying to walk up the hill, and I started crying because I'm just thinking about this elderly man. I drove about a half a mile more, making that left onto Chemical Road, and I saw another gentleman walking along the median of Chemical Road. And if you know these roads, they're not really conducive to walking. So there's an elderly brown gentleman navigating, trying to walk the median of Chemical Road. So I'm going, why am I seeing these elderly men out here by themselves on these dangerous roads walking? So the tears are just pouring down my face, and it's touching my heart. So there's two things that touched my heart. Number one, um, some people might be going through this crisis alone, living alone and going through it alone. And that's horrible, because it's hard enough for us that are going through it with someone else. And I'm not talking faith here, I'm talking of natural phenomena that's going on right now, this pandemic, how our lives have been turned upside down, and we're just thrust into survival mode right now. So I'm not talking faith, I'm talking humanity here. So as I continue to drive and do my errands, it also touched my heart that we need to be thankful. If we are going through this crisis with someone else, we have people that we're living with, that's living with us, and sometimes we, like, really don't necessarily want that to be the case. If you're married, you're living with someone, and that's your choice, yes, but then sometimes it's not by choice, it's by necessity, or kids come home, or adults fall on hard times and you have to live with someone. But regardless of the reason that you're living with someone, or you're going through this together in the same living space, we should be grateful because we have each other to go through this crisis with, um, to socialize with in the same space. And then there's some who are in domestic violence situations, that are um, have to stay in the house with their abusers, and that's a terrible place to be. So I went back and forth between being grateful for having someone to be with and to go with and to shelter in place with, to being very sensitive and sad for people that don't have that. And God forbid, the people who are sheltering in place with an abuser. It is, like, horrible. So I did my errands, and as I came back through Philly, I decided to just enjoy the empty roads, which I enjoy on any given day. And it's why I typically do my errands early in the morning because I don't like traffic. And I drove through Germantown, and I'm just looking at the stores closed. I drove past Uncle Bobby's, and it's closed. So then my mind is now thinking, and my heart is thinking towards all of the small businesses and people that are losing income and losing jobs. And it was just a reality and an eye opener for me. So I just continued to drive through Germantown. And as I was driving through Germantown, I saw another elderly gentleman walking down the street alone, looking sad, and I knew this gentleman. So I became even sadder. My heart just totally ached, and I'm going, God, this is three times within the past 2 or 3 hours that I've seen elderly gentlemen walking alone in the street. And I know with eyes and spiritual eyes and a heart that God has allowed me to see that because I talk about the things that I see and that I ponder. And I'm sharing this message. And the message is to please check in on your elderly relatives, your elderly neighbors, and people that you socialize, elderly people that you socialize with. If they don't have a family member or an advocate in their lives to be with them and advocate for them in in this crisis, um, they're very much alone because they're not able to get out to go to the store, and some stores are open, but not all the stores. And they're not able to go to the senior citizen places if that's in fact what they do. And they're not able to go to the doctors because the doctors are only seeing urgent patients, and most of the non-urgent and routine visits are being done through telemed. So it's just through technology. And perhaps these people, these elderly people, aren't tech savvy. They either aren't tech savvy or some people were just never interested in becoming tech savvy. So they are missing that social interaction. And we talk about social distancing. I like the term that's coined of physical distancing because we don't want to say social distancing because that can lead to isolation. And at one time we were calling it social isolation. And um, we don't want to call it social isolation because that's a very real thing. That's a real thing on a good day. And it's very real on these crisis days that we're experiencing. So while we're practicing social distancing, more and more people are becoming isolated. And if they're not on virtual um, social meetings with people and connecting on FaceTime and all the other avenues that we have to connect socially, these people are becoming more and more isolated. And that's what my heart saw today and my eyes saw today. So my message is to please reach out to the elderly, particularly if you know that they don't have family and friends that they are actively engaged with. And my second plea is to reach out to even people that are not senior citizens, but potentially live alone and they're not connected to family. And for various reasons, people aren't connected for various reasons. It doesn't make it wrong, it makes it their situation. And in this time of crisis, we really need to be connected. Um, wow, I think that's it. I just think that's it. It was just very heavy on my heart, and I wanted to get the message out there to you guys. Share the message with other people, please. And I think that's it. And I have to figure out how to upload this on YouTube and get this on my social media pages. But I'm out here and I'm trying. I am Pamela Foster Washington. I am a chick with a message. It is my passion and my purpose to enlighten, to encourage, and to empower. And I talk out loud to things that people cry about in the dark. I wish you and I pray upon you an abundance of blessings, and most of all, an abundance of peace. We're going to get through this. We're getting through this together. It's not going to be easy. It won't be quick, but we're coming out on the other side. And it is my prayer that the kindness that we extend now will continue. Okay? You have a great night and you rest in peace. Deuces.